I'm Amir. Amir Amir. Today we are going to deal with how fair rates define. Introduction. Most conditions of contract provide for contract agreement to include contract rates which are to be applied when evaluating variations. These contract rates are usually employed where work in variation is similar to work set out in the contract. Work including a variation which differs in character to the work in the contract is usually expressed as being evaluated using fair rates. That is JCT 1998 clause 13.5.13. As variations are inevitable in all the contracts, there should be some system. That is why this how fair rates defined as came into the equation. Dubai Municipality Condition 52.1 requires the engineer and the contractor to agree suitable rates for variation in case where there are no applicable rates in the contract. Rates should not be regarded as suitable if the same should not be classified as fair. Dispute often arises when fair rates are to be employed as to how the fair rate will be calculated. Courts, if asked to decide on the matter, would invariably take a subjective view and hold the rate must be fair in all circumstances which occurred on the project and which were relevant to the calculation of the rate. In case of Banco Paribas versus Ben Glass Limited 1994, the court had to decide how the fair and reasonable value should be calculated in respect of a part completed project. It was necessary to carry out the valuation as the developer has become insolvent. The absence of any guideline in the development agreement, the judge decided that the fair and reasonable value should be calculated on a cost or measure and value basis and not on an open market value of the project. Judge Bowser QC in his judgment on the case of Laserborn Limited versus Morrison Biggs Ball Limited 1992 had to decide the meaning of fair and reasonable payment for works executed. He had this to say regarding the cost as being the correct method of fixing a fair and reasonable amount. I am in no doubt that the cost plus basis in the form in which it was applied by the defendant quantum expert, though perhaps not in other forms, is wrong in principle, even though in some instances it may produce the right result. One can test it by example. If a company directors are sufficiently cunning to buy materials from stock at knockdown prices from a liquidator, must they pass on the benefit of their cunningness to their customers? Question mark. If the contractor provides two cranes of equal capacity and equal efficiency to do equal efficiency, should one crane be charged lower than the other one, because one crane is only 1 year old, another is 3 years old. If an expensive item of equipment has been depreciated to nothing in the company's account by a careful maintenance of the company continue to use it, must the equipment be provided free of charge apart from the running expenses like fuel and labor? Question mark. On the defendant's argument, the answer to this question is yes. I cannot accept that begins to be the right. One problem in this case is that the plaintiff expert has in some instances relied on general market rate, but on the institutional rates which are said to be too high in the circumstances. The defendant's expert object that the use of the rate involved an element of doubt, charging in that the FCEC day works include charges for instances and head office charges, which are separately made in Spencer's calculation. The experts have agreed a reduction in respect of these charges. Once the agreed reduction has been made, I see no objection to use FCEC day work rates in the instances in which they have been used. By the way of contrast, in the case of Tington Grange Limited versus Dew Group and Northwest Water 1996, the Court of Appeal held that in the ICE 5th edition valuation under clause 52(1) included the compensation to the main contractor for the loss of profit on payment to a subcontractor in respect of the cancellation of an order resulting from an engineer's variation. Summary: the House of Lords in case of Semco Salvage and Marine Private Limited versus Lands Navigation 1997 held that the words fair rates and expenses means a fair rate of remuneration expenditure but doesn't include the loss of profit. The wording should have been defined in the contract to include profit, but this was not in the case. The judge in the Bankur Faribas versus Benclass Limited 1994 case preferred to adopt a measure and value method to establish the value of a development and not an open market value basis. In Labasso Limited versus Morrison Biggs Ball Limited 1992, the judge was not impressed by the argument that a fair and reasonable payment should be based on actual expenditure. It is clear from the above that this is not to be taken as a definition to be used universally. Courts will normally take a subjective view and hold that must be fair and in all circumstances which occurred on the project and which were relevant to the calculation of the rates. The technical auditor should be fair in auditing such claims. He should be familiar with the legal precedents. Thank you.